It was a brisk evening in the middle of October. I was just about ready to sit down and enjoy a glass of 14-year-old aged scotch when I received a call about an apparent suicide of a wealthy businessman by the name of Daniel Davenport, a well-to-do gentleman who was no stranger to the upper echelons of London society, for whom the last 9 years had been partnered with a Lawrence DeVille. The partnership of D&D Industries had become one of the most profitable companies in all of London, though rumors of financial instability had been circulating among other jealous industry types as of late. It was approximately 5:15 that evening that I left my home in Wilmington and started my 3-hour journey north, a little due east of Edinburgh, to a small town called Pepperington, the town where DeVille's Swallow Run mansion was located. I'd never been one to associate myself with the socialites of the day. I've always found them evasive, insincere, and a bit off-putting to my liking. This feeling of uneasiness couldn't be more felt as I approached Swallow Run Mansion. Its vast, foreboding gates were unwelcoming and duly unnecessary in the landscape surrounded by the Scottish moors it inhabited. It didn't help matters that a storm the likes of which hadn't been seen in Britain in a Queen's age was brewing behind the estate, and by the looks of which, I feared, would encapsulate us by nightfall. I only hoped that the outdoor surroundings were not foreshadowing what lie ahead inside those giant oak doors. Unfortunately, in cases like this, what lies behind those doors is anything but pleasant.
You must be the inspector.
No! Someone at the door! Who is it? Out of the way! Let me get a good look at him. Ah, so you must be the inspector. Locally Constable Ian McAllister here. I've got everything under control. All the guests are in the lounge as to not to disturb the body. No one's been allowed to leave besides the maid and myself, of course. I've assured all the guests to keep a stiff upper lip, and that this will all be taken care of very shortly. Johnny on the spot, pip-pip, as you people say. Pretty much all the loose ends have been tied up around here. All by the book, of course. The local coroner hasn't arrived, though. Apparently on a call from Lower Birmingham. When he phoned about an hour ago, said he'd be here by morning. Looks like a nice night for a smoke. Oh, no. Looks like the rain's coming in. Best get you inside before you catch cold.
Oh, yes. Quite a good bit of detective work you've done here. So, naturally, you've covered the body as to avoid disturbances by local fowl or inclement weather.
Well, no, haven't got myself around to that yet. Only so much a bloke can do given a certain amount of time.
And approximately how long have you been on the scene, Constable?
Oh, well, I'd say about 3 hours.
Well, of course you'd had your hands full taking notes from the guests on the mental condition of the deceased before the suicide.
Oh, well, of course I would have done that. But I was much too busy making sure the woman folk were comforted. These business types don't know a thing about comforting the women, am I right?
Then clearly, after comforting the women, you went straight away to the room where the deceased had leapt, to look for insights into his mental state at the time. Letters, bottles of booze, sorrowful music, you know, the by-the-book stuff.
Well, of course I tried to. What do you think I was doing? What do you think I am, some kind of a womanizing middle-aged buffoon? But the door was locked from the inside, so I thought best not to tamper with it till you arrived.
I don't mean to interrupt you, gentlemen, but if you like to meet the guests, they're all in the lounge. I can show you if you wish.
Yes, please. That actually would be helpful.
I'd love to follow her lead, if you know what I mean. You know. Eh? Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, finally, thank God, Inspector, you've arrived.
We've been stuck here for 3 hours in this cramped room. Your constable has been less than cordial to us, except for my Veronica, who he has talked to for at least an hour. We wanted to explore this quaint little town while we're here, but now we're stuck in this drafty old house with all these people who seem to be very upset. And then this man, who we hardly know, really interrupts us. Oh, he really interrupted our evening, didn't he, Veronica, by deciding to kill himself. And now we are stuck here. God, with this constable, who can't even keep his hands off my property.
Oh, honey, he seems to be okay. I wish you'd leave him alone. I think he might be a little lonely.
This is Vernon von Herzog from Austria, and this is his companion, Miss Schnozberry.
Yeah, originally from Austria, but I've lived in Germany for 20 years. But I'm visiting for a few months to see if the investment opportunities in this industry are worth it. So, Inspector, between you and me, a suicide on the very grounds that I stand on doesn't bode well for D&D. Especially when it was one of the Ds.
Calm down, Herzog. It's nothing to get your leader hosing in a bunch for. But I do agree, Inspector. We've been waiting here for a long time. Your constable has kept us here for the better part of 3 hours, like we're some sort of criminals or something. Now, I'm a fair man, but I'm fed up with the way I'm being treated. For Christ's sake, there ain't even any liquor in here!
Listen here, McBolzabig, I'm just doing my job. This is industry tycoon Harry McBolzabig, and his assistant, Bridget.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Right. Sorry, I have a dreadful headache. Since you're here, I need fresh air, a drink, or several.
Unfortunately, we have to have you stay a few moments longer in here, as we have yet to examine the room or the body. But as this is done, I promise you I will release you out into the wild, where you may do whatever it is that you wish.
You have got to. Jesus fucking Christ.
May I surmise, from your rugged exterior, of course, that you are the groundskeeper of this estate?
Yes, this is the groundskeeper, Frank O'Toole. Frank here lives on the perimeter by the grazing fields. Wasn't there during the time of the suicide, but I thought best to round everyone up, just to be sure.
Oh, well, there's no real reason for you to stay, then, since you weren't even on the grounds. Would you please cover the body, though, to protect it from the incoming storm, sir?
Of course, sir. Then I have to solve this mystery of my own. 3rd sheep this week to kill over.
Inspector, if you would, I'm Lawrence DeVille. This is my house, damn it. If you go in the room, I want to be there.
Very well, Mr. DeVille. If you stay behind the constable, myself, and refrain from touching anything in the room, you may join.
So then the girl turns to me and she says, why don't we take it back to my place? And I said, we're already at your place. The bird was so tossed, she didn't even notice when her sisters came in, and that's when the real fun started.
You are aware we're in a house where suicide has just taken place?
Yes, I equally don't care for that conversation. Is this the room up here?
I was just trying to lighten the mood.
Yes, that is the room.
You say it's locked from the inside?
I tried everything to get that door open.
Ha!
Oh, so breaking the door to bits was an option.
Sir, how long had the deceased been staying here, Mr. DeVille?
He just arrived this morning.
Yes. His baggage is yet to be unpacked. But it seems he began work already over here on his desk. Huh. And the balcony, over here, the doors were not forced open. Mr. DeVille, has anyone been here since Davenport arrived?
To my knowledge, just a maid.
Would you please fetch the maid?
Of course.
What are we looking for anyway?
Anything out of the ordinary, but suicide note, sign of depression, etc., etc. This is curious. It's Davenport's journal on the desk. Open to today's date. I've finally arrived in Pepperington to discuss the merger, though I'm not looking forward to it. I have taken the liberty of forwarding my mail to the estate,
since I'll be staying here for the next 3 weeks. Hope the carrier does not delay in getting this package to me. I'm looking forward to finding out more information on this new German investor, von Herzog. Though I'd like to say this investor has got me excited, the impending merger is leaving a sour taste in my mouth.
There is another entry on the same day, but it appears to be unfinished.
The package arrived, and I can't believe after all these years he's come back. I never expected.
I never expected what? Inspector?
I don't know. The journal stops there. Apparently, he never finished writing this entry.
Oh, well, here's the package. Postmarked from Germany. It looks like a bunch of financial documents. And von Herzog. You know, he was in Goldstein and Block for the last 20 years in Hamburg. Before that, looks like he was with Johann and Associates for 10 in Austria. That's it. 2 companies? Don't see why he'd get all up in arms about that.
May I take a look?
Sure.
It appears to be von Herzog lived under a different name in Austria. A Joseph Gutenberg. It appears he changed it once he left Johann and Associates for Goldstein and Black.
Well, at least he died like a real man. Look at it. Looks like he was enjoying some scotch and a cigarette before he left.
Constable, please, may I see the scotch for a moment?
I mean, what kind of a man doesn't finish his drink or smoke before leaping? Inspector, what's that you got in your hand?
Just a piece of paper from my kit to see if there's any other elements in this scotch.
Oh,
this is odd.
What's green mean?
If he did throw himself off the balcony, why would he poison his scotch?
You can't keep us in here like wild animals. Send me out of here soon. You're in my face and I don't like it. Get lost, you jerk. Come on, brat. Go. Like a bamboos. You can't keep us in here like wild animals. Send me out of here soon. Fuck it. God damn it. I'm trying to get out of this son of a bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. No one may leave the estate, for Daniel Davenport was murdered. Yes, I'll have to interview you one at a time in the solarium. In the solarium. Young Stephen DeVille, you're the nephew of the owner of this estate, are you not?
Yes, I am. I've been living here for the last 2 years. My uncle's been so kind to me. I'm here on break from Elwood Academy, since my uncle's usually away on some exotic business trip.
So, to answer the following question, no, you had not met Big Balls are Big until tonight. Great. So, what time?
Oh my goodness, let me tell you, I had a dreadful time packing. The maid could not find any of the clothes I wanted to take. I never know what to wear in this country. The weather's so interesting.
Your name, please.
Lucius Perryweather, accountant and fiduciary consultant for Lawrence DeVille.
How long have you worked for Mr. DeVille?
6 years.
Then you knew Davenport reasonably well. Can you describe him?
Oh, Davenport. Don't really know what I could say about Davenport that hasn't already been written in the tabloids. He's been partnered with Mr. DeVille for 9 years and has always been the public face for the company. He provided the PR portion to the public while DeVille talked business to the investors. A personable gentleman who people seem to like. I personally never cared for his style of humor. Of course, now that I think about it, there are very few types of humor that I do care for. So what time...
And the driver showed up with a limousine instead of the Rolls Royce.
I, for one, knew that Davenport couldn't have killed himself. So what time...
How are we supposed to travel a long distance in that?
He was in love with his own image.
So unpractical, not thinking at all.
So what time did you arrive this evening?
If you want to know who I think killed him, you need look no further than Harry McBowlesabig.
I think Lucius Perryweather killed Davenport.
I see. And what evidence, pray tell, do you possess, Mr. McBowlesabig?
I don't need no evidence. Man's as cold as a block of ice. Scared the willies out of me, always has.
And how long have you known Mr. Perryweather?
Can't remember when he wasn't a rattlesnake in my road. Not much for conversation, that man. I've always wanted to get D&D Industries to merge with Walker Co. That would be a multinational company to reckon with. But he always makes the bill pull back at the last minute. What wouldn't he do to balance the budget? Here's the thing, Inspector. If the book showed potential for higher profits, who knows what he's capable of? How can you trust a man like that?
Look at this desolate place. A perfect scene for a man to die in. If we had the meeting in London like I had originally planned, if we just would have done it there, I wouldn't be here. In the middle of nowhere, where I'm not sure what is more hazardous, the unending moors or that awful odor produced by all the sheep. But DeVille had to have his investors and business dealings at his manor. Lucius, he would say. The manor will be more intimate, more appealing, and on our own grounds. What an old fool! Taking away business from the epicenter of commerce? Well, DeVille, look where D&D is now.
Don't talk about my uncle that way, Perryweather. He's a good man.
Good? Good? Who are you? What do you know about DeVille? Apparently nothing. If you had half the brain your father did, boy, you'd mind your own matters.
Don't bring my father into this!
Don't you dare raise your voice to me, you twit! If it weren't for my financial prowess, your uncle wouldn't have the money to send you to that posh prep school, as if it were doing any good.
That's just about enough, Fairweather, you dirty son of a bitch.
You've been the housekeeper for 3 years, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Davenport well?
Well, I don't know, sir.
You don't know? Well, how often did you see him?
Not often, sir.
Know who might have killed him?
No. Well? No.
Did you hear anything suspicious? Oh, I don't know. When you were confined in the lounge with everyone, one of whom being the murderer, for 3 hours.
No.
See anything today concerning, oh, I don't know, the murder?
Well, I guess. No.
Did you see anyone in his room today?
Well,
For the last time, if I knew the sheep was pregnant, I wouldn't have taken her to market. As for the second accusation, Fairweather, I didn't know she was blind. I thought she was just having a little fun. You smug son of a bitch. I'm gonna make your face look like your toes.